Hello, welcome to Escalante Middle School. I'm really pleased to share some of the things that we're working on here at the school and a couple of our teachers that we'd like to highlight. With our implementation of expedition learning over the last couple of years, we have really spent quite a bit of time on introducing student engagement protocols, numerous protocols to create a shared learning environment and shared responsibility for learning in the classroom. And a couple of things that you'll see is teachers sharing the airtime, so to speak. We're listening for student voice and teacher voice and working to ensure that our students are working as hard as the teachers, if not harder. By improving our universal first-time instruction and creating what we call instructing for quality lessons, we believe this is our best shot at improving student achievement.
So can you just explain a little bit about today's instruction and what students were working on?
Yes. What started off with our warm-up was, I call it a pre-test check-in. And so at the beginning of every learning target, I give a pre-test. Then throughout the learning target, I check in and I have them redo some of the questions so they can kind of, not only it helps me see where they're at, but the kids can see, oh, like I didn't know this before, and now I understand it. So it kind of helps them, motivates them, and it keeps them like excited about the learning that they've been doing. And it helps them feel successful too. This pre-test check-in, if you guys did really well on this, then you should feel confident about the test on Wednesday. All right, number 15. Looking at our 2 points they give us and identifying the slope, the y-intercept, and the equation. Who's got the slope for me? Aaron, do you have the slope?
1.
Good. Right, it started off as 5 over 5 and simplified down to 1. And what's the y-intercept, Dawson?
-1.
Okay, and then if we put all that together, what's the equation, Sabina?
I got y equals x minus 1.
Very good. Okay? Oops, don't forget our boxes in those two as well. All right, what we're going to do now, we'll put a box, give me a 4, 3, 2, 1, and how you feel you did overall on this.
Could you explain the 1, 2, 3, 4
Yes.
comprehension check to me?
So 4, I base it off of like the states 4, 3, 2, 1 with TCAP. 4 is, I call it mastery, 3 is proficient, 2 is partially proficient, and 1 is emergent. So I try to use that same language.
And they self-assign those numbers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I say you're going to write down your number in each question, what do I mean by that? Sabina?
You mean what number you put in the box?
Right, it'll be a number between 1 and 4, right? So, and then if you feel like kind of in between, sometimes I'll do like a 3 plus. You can use that as well. Let's have Mia's row go up and put their numbers. Supporting target 11. Quinn.
I can use a linear equation to model and solve real-life problems.
Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down for this one. Are we good? Not so good. We're good. Good. Right? Not even 2s in there. Lots of 3 pluses.
There's even a mountain.
There's even a mountain. I know. I wonder who wrote that. So, I think, according to the data, that we are super ready for our test on Wednesday.
So they're working on writing a story, it sounds like.
It is linked to the district's focus on writing. You know, a lot of times in math, it's like, we've got so much to do but when you have that opportunity, like the linear functions, this is such a great, true opportunity for them to write stories. And they wrote stories last week in their investigation, and they were getting so into it. We should just make this into a bigger project and have them really elaborate and really connect it to real life and practice their writing. And then, I don't know if you heard Quinn wanting to share out his story, so then it gives an opportunity to share as well their math, their writing, their story.
Can we share our stories today?
We're not going to share them today, Quinn. We're going to make posters, and then we're going to share them out Friday. Okay, so here's what we're going to be starting tomorrow. Real life linear equations. Directions. Work with a partner to write a story that demonstrates a linear function, or like a linear situation, linear equation. Make sure your story demonstrates the following components. What's one thing we need to have in our story, Dawson?
A table.
A table. What's another thing we need to have in our story, Casey?
Yeah.
And what's another thing, Nathan? Tomorrow, We're going to go through the rubric so you are clear on the expectations of what the poster has to have so you can get a 4 in all the criteria. And this is a great review, another way to review for the test. Had I seen one of these supporting targets with lots of 2s or 1s, we would have put this off for a couple days and focused in, but since we're good, this is a great kind of overall comprehensive review activity for your test on Wednesday.
We started the class with grammar, and the way I've structured my class has been starting off with words and then building into sentences and then building into paragraphs and longer pieces of writing. So we've been studying words throughout the year, and we keep coming back to that, usually at the start of every class. Building upon vocabulary, how to use words in writing, how do you use words in a sentence, how do you use words in a paragraph, and then in the larger context, clauses, phrases, how can you use phrases or different types of clauses to make your writing better, tone, voice, all of that. So really kind of analyzing words and how they work within text. All right. Nouns, any other nouns? Silas?
Wait, what's roar?
Roar is a noun, good. Do we have any modifiers?
Yes.
Modifiers?
The and the.
Okay, what are they?
All the does.
Adjective.
All right, good job, you guys.
No, it has to.
Well, let's get back to it. Hold on, we'll come back. Any other modifiers? Let's find our modifiers first.
Distant.
Yeah, distant, right, good. Well, what's it modifying?
It's water. Distant.
Water spout.
Distant
Water
water
spout
spout.
is distant.
Okay, so it's an adjective because it's modifying what?
Water spout.
Which is what part of speech?
A noun.
A noun, good. All right. Clauses. What is that? Turn and talk to your partner. What does every clause need? Every clause.
Subject and the predicate.
Ethan, every clause needs what? And what else?
Subject.
A subject and a predicate. How many of you got most of the first line? Raise your hand. Okay, put your hands down. How many of you got the prepositional phrase?
No. Wait.
Okay, good.
None. That's it.
How many of you feel like you're getting better at this?
A little bit.
Okay, good. All right, this is hard stuff. All right, get your vocabulary notebooks out, please, your novels. Okay. So what are you going to be doing? Do you remember?
Analyzing.
You're analyzing the text. You're analyzing the text.
Tell me a little bit about the audio and how does that help the students?
If you don't have an audio or if they don't have help, they'll get caught up in the vocabulary and trying to figure out the words as opposed to getting the big ideas. So this really helps them get the big ideas so that they can apply it to their writing. And that's kind of the big idea of my classes. It's all about your writing. This is the second year I've done this, and I was a little apprehensive last year by picking some hard texts. But what I found was after reading 3 classic novels, their reading went way up and their comprehension went way up. And then when they were reading easier texts, 6th grade level texts, their comprehension went way up. They were able to understand better. All right, so let's turn to page 78, and I'll get the audio going for you.
Scrooge did as he was told and held it fast.